Let's move on to the rest of the screen implementation. Next up is the assets collection. We will have the label stating that we should select asset. So this is one of the cryptocurrencies we can have within the application. So when I said asset, I mean that we can select a cryptocurrency. Add some padding. So 10, 10, 10, 10, 0. And now let's add the collection view for our assets. So item source is going to come from the property called available assets. Items layout, we are going to have this in a horizontal list. Selection mode is single. Height is going to be limited to the 100. Selected item, we will bind that to the selected coin property. And the item template, that is the look of one item in a collection view, we will use the static resource coin cell. So again, this comes from the cell templates, and here we have the coin cell. So we have a frame, and within that frame we put the image of the cryptocurrency, and we just state name of the cryptocurrency. Okay, I need to add the properties for these new bindings. First one is property, which will be observable collection. Of coin. Like I mentioned, we are going to call this available assets. And next property is coin type, and this will be for the selected coin. Let's go, and in the constructor of the add transaction view model, we can initialize the available assets. So for the available assets, I will initialize it to the new observable collection. And for the actual source, we can use coin.getAvailableAsset. So in this method, you can see the list of all available assets we can have currently in the wallet. Let's see the changes. So we have our cryptocurrencies now in the horizontal list. Okay, the transaction amount is next. So let's add a label for the amount and specify just some margins. And now add a new entry for the amount. So we will define the style of this entry. This is going to be static resource named input. So this also comes from the resource dictionary. And you can see that we defined the style once and use it multiple times. So this is the input style. We set the height, placeholder color, and background color of our entry. Text for now, let's leave empty, but we will see how to bind that to the amount which supports validations. You're going to see that soon. Keyboard is numeric, and as well add some margins. So 16, 0, 16, 0. Right beneath the entry, we are going to put the label, and in that label, we are going to show all the errors we have for this amount entry. So text for now, we will leave it empty. Style, it's going to be again from the static resource, and the name of the resource is validation error label. Final step is to add some margins. Finally, we have the transaction date. For that, we will use the date picker. So I will add a new label and change this to the transaction date and add the date picker with some margins, 16, 0, 16, 0. And the date property of the date picker, we are going to bind that to the transaction date. Okay, we can also see the transaction date now. Okay, and the last control is the button to actually perform the adding a new transaction. I have also predefined this style for this button, and the style is named blue button, so the button is going to be blue. Margin 20, width request 240, text is going to be add, and let's bind this to the command named add transaction command. Okay, we have the button here. We just need to add these two new properties and we are done with implementation of the add transaction view. So first property is the date time. For the date picker, we are going to call this transaction date, and let's define new command called add transaction command. That's it for this lecture, and starting from next lecture, you are going to see how to add custom validation to the amount property.